thousands of supporters of ousted President Morsi taking to the streets there, protesting the military-led government as it cements its hold on power. The protesters are vowing to keep up the pressure until Mohamed Morsi is restored to office. The deposed president is being detained by the new rulers, has not been seen in almost 2 weeks. All this as a senior U.S. diplomat meets with Egypt's interim leaders, marking the highest level visit by an American official since Egypt's army took back control of the country and kicked Mohamed Morsi out of office. Brett Baer is the anchor of Special Report and working on some new information about a program, a gathering of Muslim Brotherhood leaders who are trying to get Morsi back in power. Right, Brett?
Yeah, John, James Rosen's actually working on this piece and developed from a source that put us in touch with a report coming out of Sky News Al Arabiya. And basically this report states that there was an emergency Muslim Brotherhood meeting in Turkey over the past day and a half in which Muslim Brotherhood leaders from around the world, from Tunisia, from Egypt, from Turkey, from Hamas, all came together, and the purpose of the meeting, according to this report, was to figure out a way to get Morsi back in power in Egypt and to advance the goals of the Muslim Brotherhood all throughout the Middle East. Now, we don't need to explain that there's concern about the Muslim Brotherhood from a number of quarters, not the least of which is other Gulf states that see the Muslim Brotherhood as fomenting something of not helpful to the giant inner workings of all the Gulf states in respect to Iran and Syria and other elements. The administration's take on the Muslim Brotherhood, the ambassador on the ground in Egypt, Ann Patterson, was criticized by a lot of the opposition folks for working closely with the Muslim Brotherhood. The State Department and others have said that she was simply trying to respect Egypt's elected leaders. So it's a big development if this emergency meeting is as big a deal as Sky News Al Arabiya has made it.
Well, the president himself came out and said back in the days when Hosni Mubarak was in power that Mubarak had to go. What are they saying about the Muslim Brotherhood and specifically restoring President Morsi? Anything?
No, not much at all, and it's an interesting take. They're being very vague. The initial statements were that they don't pick a political party, they don't have a horse in this race, essentially. They are with the Egyptian people. They have stopped short of calling it a military coup, but we're told privately the communications are between military leaders here in the U.S. and diplomats here in the U.S. and the Egyptian military and interim government, the people who are being put up to the interim government, that you need to get to an election pretty quickly in Egypt. That's the private message, but publicly it's been very vague and not definitive.
Let's talk briefly about Edward Snowden. Glenn Greenwald, the guy who broke the story about Snowden and all of his documents and data from the NSA. He's saying that he has a whole lot more, could do tremendous damage to this nation's intelligence infrastructure if he wanted to. I presume that's kind of a safety valve for Snowden to try to prevent the U.S. government from going after him?
Yeah, I think Catherine described it as an insurance policy, and that may very well be the case. It's the way Greenwald describes it, as if Snowden is harmed in any way, that he will release this NSA blueprint, as he calls it, these thousands of documents that have not come out as of yet. Clearly, U.S. officials are saying that he does have these goods. They have tracked his inner workings in the computer system. They believe he has a lot more. They haven't been obviously definitive about and specific about what that is, but to hear Greenwald describe it, it's a lot of classified information.
And he's applied for temporary asylum in Russia. Where does that request stand?
We just heard and saw a wire report from President Putin in Russia in which he said he believes that Snowden is finished with his efforts to undermine the U.S. in policy. What that means from President Putin, whether he's going to agree to a temporary asylum or not, we don't know, but it's a kind of a partial statement we just saw pop up on the wires. He has an asylum request in Russia, Venezuela, Ecuador, and I believe Cuba.
Interesting to see what back-channel communications might be going on between the White House and President Putin over all this. Brett Baer, thank you.